Okay, so let's look at latitudes and longitudes. So we're going to start with longitudes. It says the lines of longitudes are imaginary lines drawn on the Earth's surface. These lines are drawn running vertically from north to south on the surface of the Earth. These lines of longitudes are also called meridians, and they are 360 in number, each being a degree. Thus, the lines of longitudes are of 360 degrees. Okay, let's represent this definition in pictorial form. So let's draw our Earth. We're going to use a sphere. So drawing a sphere as our Earth, we're going to say, okay, let it be this way. Okay. And this is our north, this is south, this is the east, and this is the west. Okay, from the definition, it says these are lines drawn running vertically from north to south. So from north to south, and it said the lines are 360 in number, but this is not drawn to scale, so I can't draw 360 lines for you here, but just have it in mind that the values, the number of lines here, like what it said, they are 360 in number, each being a degree. So each of the lines represent a degree, and since they are 360 in number, it means as you are drawing from north to south and you are maintaining that pattern, that curve-like pattern, so I'm drawing them. I can't remember what I said, this is not drawn to scale, so I can't draw 360 lines for you, but I'll just draw a few of them to represent my longitudes. So let's just accept this particular diagram here, but it's a particular longitude that cuts across the whole 360 degrees, that cuts it into half, and it is 0 degrees, and it passes through the center this way. And in reality, it passes through Greenwich in London. So this is they call it the prime meridian. This particular line is a prime meridian. So this line is 0 degrees. And if everything here is 360s, and this one is 0 degree, it means that from here, which is, let me write the 0 degrees for this line is 0. So 0 means from here to here will be 180. Since this line is sharing the whole 360 into 2, so from here to here will be 180 degrees. And again from here to here will be 180. That means due east will also be 180 degrees. So everything will now be 360. Don't forget that the prime meridian, which is this line, let me even write that one out. This line here is the prime meridian. Prime meridian. Don't forget that each line is a meridian, but this particular line that divides the whole 360 degrees, or the whole 360 lines into 2, is the prime meridian. So the prime meridian is actually the 0 degrees out of all the 360 degrees there. So this is 0 degree. Then if you're counting, since this is half of the whole 360 and this is 0, if you're counting this way, you must get 180 lines. And if you're counting this way, you must have 180. So that I'm writing 0 for that particular line. This way is 1, 2, this part is 1. So you have 180 lines if you're counting. Don't forget, this is not drawn to scale, so you're not going to see 180 lines, but definitely you should have 180 lines representing a degree, and they will go towards the west. And also from this same prime meridian, you have 180 lines counting going to the east, and each of these lines represents a degree. So it makes sense. That means within, you can have 90 somewhere around here, which is halfway through the journey. So if you trace it down, this line here might represent 90 degrees. Yes, and again this way, let's assume this one here is 100 degrees. So if you trace it down here, this line here might represent 100 degrees. So of course, don't forget that this is not drawn to scale. So this is all about the longitudes. This is just the introduction. Let's look at the latitudes now. So for the latitudes, it says the lines of latitudes are imaginary lines drawn on the Earth's surface. These lines are drawn running horizontally from west to east on the surface of the Earth. The lines of latitudes are 180 in number, measured in degrees. So on the contrary, this one, still drawing our Earth like a sphere. Let me draw the Earth as a sphere also here. This is not drawn to scale. Take note, this is not drawn to scale. It's not a perfect diagram of our Earth surface, and not a perfect diagram that will show, that represent the latitudes. So latitudes are going, this is our west, this is our east, this is our north, and this is our south. He said they are horizontal lines, so I have to draw them this way. They have to go this way. So horizontal lines going from west to east, so I have to draw them this way. Yes, this way. But it's a particular line, there's a particular latitude that is also 0 degrees, and it cuts the whole lines of latitude into two. Remember that in this case, there are how many of them? 180 in number, and they are measured in degrees. That means for latitudes, all the lines are 180 in number, and they are each representing a degree. So from here to here is 180 degrees. All the lines from beginning to end, whichever way you want to count, from top to bottom or from bottom to top, everything is 180 degrees. But the longitude, we are counting this way, east to west or west to east, everything is 360. And mind you, see how I shared it well, since everything is 360, and this middle one, the prime meridian, is the one cutting the 360 into two, making you have, because the line itself is the 0 degrees out of all the 360 degrees, so you have 0 to this one is 180, then again 0 to this part is 180, completing the whole 360 for the whole lines for longitude. But latitude is going this way, is horizontal, going from north to south, and you are drawing it from west to east if you are drawing the lines for latitude. And there's a particular line, I've just said it now, it is called the equator. Let me use a different marker for that. It's called the equator, and it divides the whole 180. Don't forget that from here to here is 180 degrees. That means if this equator is 0 degrees, that means from here to here will be 90 degrees, and from here to the top will also be 90 degrees, completing the whole 180. Since this line is the one sharing the whole 180 into two parts, don't forget that. So this is 0 degrees, this line is the one, is the equator. Let me write down out the equator. This is the equator. And so if you're counting the number of lines, you should have 90 latitudes from here upward, 90 of them, and each of the lines, this is not drawn to scale, so I'm sorry you're not seeing up to 90 lines here. There's no way logically I can draw up to 90 lines. Even if I try, there'll be no time for that. 90 lines represent each degree. Just have it in your mind that each line represents a degree, and they must be 90 in number due north. And again, each line represents 90 degree due south from here. If you're counting from the 0, and everything is now 180. So let's just say if this part is 45, midway, if you trace it down, that means realistically this is the line of latitude that is representing 45 degrees. And again, due south, if this part here is 45 degrees, if you trace it down, realistically speaking, literally speaking, this line is the line representing 45 degrees due south, because this line is sharing, is demarcating the north part and the south part. So we are going to, the next video we are going to do will be on a location of points on the Earth's surface. Remember, this is the first video, and I will advise that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'll be uploading more of my videos on my YouTube channel. And you know, on YouTube you can arrange them based on their topic, and it will be easier for you to just go and check based on the topic and watch and get to know more of those topics. So see you in the next video. The next video will be location of points on the Earth's surface.